Greetings. Welcome back to the broadcast. Today we are starting our week, like we do most weeks, with wisdom and encouragement from the Psalms and from the Proverbs. We're ready for Psalm 10 and Proverbs 15 this morning. Psalm 10 will probably resonate with most of us. The psalmist is struggling with the fact that the wicked continue to just do their evil and get away with it, and how they get away with it, and they get to live their lives even though they have no thought of God. And the psalmist asks a question that, if we're honest, we've asked before, and that is, why do you hide yourself in a time of trouble? And then he goes on to talk about what the wicked are doing. Something I've mentioned this year, and I said the same thing in 2020, is that I think that they're going to do something awful. The wicked have some really nasty plans for this year. I said that literally January 1st in 2020. You can go back and listen to the podcast, and we all remember what happened. My prayer is that this time around, that they wouldn't get away with their evil devices. And this is really what the psalmist is getting at, I think. He's saying, look, where are you, Lord? Come out of your place and do something about this. Matthew Henry says this about the sinner being described in this passage, and then I'll read it. He said, the sinner proudly glories in his power and success. Wicked people will not seek after God, that is, will not call upon him. They live without prayer, and that is living without God. They have many thoughts, many objects and devices, but think not of the Lord in any of them. They have no submission to his will, nor aim for his glory. The cause of this is pride. Men think it below them to be religious. They could not break all the laws of the justice and goodness towards man if they did not first have shaken off all sense of religion. You see, they have no boundaries. I asked a friend recently, and by recently I mean within the last year, if you don't think there's a God, then who decides what's right and wrong? And he literally said, I decide. People without God, they become God. They may not think of it in that manner, but when they think in their mind, their heart and mind, that they decide what's right and wrong, and that they get to measure what's moral and immoral, well, then you end up with a society like we have today. So my prayer is that the Lord would come out of his place this year and would thwart their wicked plans, because we know they have them. May God's grace and mercy be upon us. Let's read this morning's passages. Psalm 10. Why do you hide yourself? Let's have a look. Verse 1. Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesses the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked through pride of his countenance will not seek after God. God is not at all in his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud, and under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor, and when he draweth him into his net, he crouches and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He hath said in his heart, God hath forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. Arise, O Lord, O God, lift up thy hand, forget not the humble. Wherefore do the wicked contemn God? He hath said in his heart, Thou wilt not require it. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief and spite. To require it with thy hand, the poor committeth himself unto thee. Thou art the helper of the fatherless. Break thou the arm of the wicked, the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till thou find none. The Lord is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land. Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart. Thou wilt cause thy ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress. And that, my friends, is Psalm 10. I pray that that speaks to you this morning. I think we can all kind of relate. Let's get some wisdom to start this week. Let's have a look at our Proverbs for today. Proverbs 15. Open up your hearts. Let's begin. Verse 1. A soft answer turn away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. A fool despises his father's instructions, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of foolish doeth not so. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. The way of the wicked is an abomination unto the Lord, but he loveth him that followeth after righteousness. Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. Hell and destruction are before the Lord. How much more then the hearts of the children of men? A scorner loveth not one that reproveth him, neither will he go unto the wise. A merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is broken. The heart of him that hath understanding seeketh knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but he that is of a merry heart hath continual feast. Better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is, than a stalled ox and hatred therewith. A wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeases strife. The way of the slothful man is a hedge of thorns, but the way of the righteous is made plain. A wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish man despises his mother. Folly is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom, but a man of understanding walketh uprightly. Without counsel, proposals are disappointed, but in a multitude of counselors they are established. A man hath joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season, how good is it? The way of life is above the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. The Lord will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the border of the widow. The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasant words. He that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house, but he that hateth gifts shall live. The heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he heareth the prayer of the righteous. The light of the eyes rejoices the heart, and a good report maketh the bones fat. The ear that heareth the reproof of life abideth among the wise. He that refuses instructions despises his own soul, but he that heareth reproof getteth understanding. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. That, my friends, is the end of our Proverbs. Verse 28 jumps out to me because we've been talking a lot about how the Proverbs and the Psalms warn about keeping your mouth shut. Like wise, righteous people, they mind their tongue. They're careful about what they say. They're slow to speak. They think things through before they... Verse 28, the heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things. You see, the righteous person studieth to answer, thinks out the consequences of his words. Should I say this? Should I not say this? And occasionally we fail, right? And then we shake our heads at ourselves. How could I be so foolish? I mean, we've all done this, right? You say things, you're like, that I shouldn't have said. God, please guard the door to my mouth. That is a prayer of mine. Please guard what I say. Not a lot of commentary from me this morning. I just really wanted the Word of God to settle in your hearts. Pray that the Lord would come out of his place, that he would remember the righteous, and that the wicked would fall into their own snare. Some people get mad when I say that, because we are commanded to pray for our enemies. But this is also in the Scriptures. Our Psalms and our Proverbs are filled with that mind. Yes, pray for our enemies. Pray for those who persecute us, for sure. But I'm also going to pray that they don't get away with their wickedness, that they don't get to devour the poor and the widow and the righteous. That's all I have for you this morning. Peace and grace be with all of you. And until next time, God bless.